I'll give us a thumbs up. Get them
gonna really
likes rolling
disappoint that
in.
one watcher, which is me.
I'm in there too, actually.
What? We've got 2 viewers, guys.
Nice. Okay, well, I think we're now there. Yeah, so what we had, as you might imagine, both the desktop audio and the mic on that were, in fact, just not connected to the sound sources called mic and desktop audio.
Oh, my God.
They didn't know what to connect themselves to. Okay, so that should be good.
Oh, that was so loud.
That should be good for some values of good. All right.
How do I turn... Oh, I can't. I remember. Oh, yes, I can. Done. Okay.
You've frozen.
Yeah, you've definitely frozen as video. But that's not necessarily bad. Everyone can see that you're working hard for slurps.
Oh, yeah. Slurp.
Slurps.
So, yeah.
And it looks like I'm slurping.
Yeah. We have a picture of Stu playing Stuart. All right, thank you for joining us. Apologies for the silence at the start there. That's what you get when old people try and use technology.
It's what the fans demanded.
What's the fans demand? If you want to hear what we were saying then, you can listen into the podcast unless I cut it off the beginning. Welcome to Crudely Drawn Swords. I'm your host and GM, Ben Moxon. And with me, as has been known to happen, are the 3 best players of this whole campaign. The MVPs, I like to think. We have Gwyn. Who are you playing?
I don't know. It's been a month. Probably some guy.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Anders Rowe, maybe?
Anders Rowe sounds right, yeah. How's Anders Rowe doing for probability right now?
Well, let me fill this space with Jabber as I attempt to remember the website that will tell me that.
TabletopTrilogyRPG.com. Just a little tip for any listeners who want to run a game of Trilogy. That's where the desktop site is. You're welcome to use it. I'll back up your stuff, though.
I mean,
he is pretty. Yeah. He's got 4 of his 5 little boxes ticked.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if anything very improbable has happened recently.
Probably not.
Seems unlikely.
Ali, who are you playing?
I am playing Arquoise Turpentine, and I definitely didn't just look that up.
You don't have to, because you know.
I know.
Stu is now rotating through numerous different illustrations, none of which are of Stu. But that's how it goes. So, Stu, are you with us?
I am.
You're in that box again.
I knew it. I was in the process of sorting it.
Get right.
You're talking into a toilet.
There we go. The camera's... Where's it gone?
Oh, it's trying again. There he is.
Hey.
The boys are back in town. So, who are you playing, Stu?
Bradley Muscles.
Anything improbable happened in your life lately?
I don't think so. There's been no killings of any sort.
When last we saw our heroes, they had they'd had a bit of a chat with the production staff after they reappeared out of the ether into the middle of the set in a little burst of fire on camera, and the production team had a bit of word with them about not using magic in public, please. We're trying to keep this hush-hush. Then we went on to the award. Everyone was a little unsettled, but the Jolly King was very impressed that you'd recovered, I believe, 3 of the 4 items. And we set about performing some trials. The first trial was to bear the sword. And all they had to do is they were dueling with weighted practice swords.
Yeah.
That was the deal. And the first bout was between Brad and I believe it was now, who were you fighting? Was it Shani Tompot or Ember Rass? One or the other, I feel.
I don't think it was Ras.
Yes, I think it was Shani Tompot.
Yeah.
And yeah, that sounds right. And the duel was going fine. Brad's pretty handy. He used his skills a bit. And during the fight, as he made contact, the sword in his hand was no longer a practice sword. It was, in fact, the original blade.
Yeah.
And that was really a problem because Shani is now leading quite a lot. So I think we're going to pull ourselves directly into, we're in the courtyard and everybody's here. So I'm just going to wind up a scene. Nope. I have inadvertently added a lot of people who shouldn't be in here, but I don't really care because this is just business. Scene. So we are in the courtyard. There is a small, like, marked out fencing circle around it, and I think we kind of get this moment in almost in slow motion as Brad like lunges forward, and suddenly the sword is no longer the practice sword. It just goes straight through this armor and impales Shani Tompot, who is looking down in horror as blood starts gushing out around this sword and slowly keels backwards. What are you doing, Brad?
I think there's naturally a moment of, oh, and then I'm going to leap forward and try and, I suppose she's got the sword through. I'm going to put my hands either side of the sword blade and use my Mr. Muscle, get it, Mr. Muscle's rubbery skin to try and make a vacuum-packed seal for now. Medic! Medic! We need a medic here!
Okay, let's have a use power. You do have an action point here if you want to use it. It's not called use power for you. It is called use power. I was thinking of a different thing.
I mean, it's a life, so let's see if we can save her. Use power.
Yeah, roll plus heart. You can take advantage at that point.
I mean, I'll just roll heart, see what happens.
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. Ooh,
an intermediate success.
I'll take an 8, yeah.
So yeah, and on this 7 to 9, your power manifests, but not quite exactly as you wanted it to. Perhaps it manifests more or less than you hoped. It may create an attention-grabbing noise or light.
So, the vacuum makes a farty noise. And everyone's awkward and giggles about it while she's dying.
Well,
it's sounding like a fart.
Brad creates a vacuum, but it's like a black hole has been created instead. It's just much too powerful. Just starts sucking everything into it. Okay, so I think you've got a good seal here. But they've like keeled backwards. And if they fall onto the ground, it's going to push the sword out. And so you're going to have to hold them for a while to maintain this.
Yeah,
it's
this
really
is it.
Awkward.
It's almost like there's that swooning pose, and I've caught them as if going in for a kiss, but it's actually my hands squeezing them together. So I'm like, oh, but now because I've not positioned myself, this is a really uncomfortable position to be standing in.
Yeah.
And he just gives her a peck on the cheek anyway. How weird not to.
Yes. So as this happens, you've got other people, like a few people just seem frozen in shock. Some people start calling, like joining in your call for a medic. Anders, what are you doing? I think you're watching at this point.
Take a few steps back until I'm out of shot.
Yeah.
You got this.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, Brad's like, yeah, thumbs up. Oh, no, can't do that.
No, because I can just stretch my thumb.
Amazing. And what are you doing, Arkwise?
I get your point. I mean, I want to sneak off and get a pasty from the crew table or something.
Yeah, you're trying to duck out of the scene, are you? You don't want to be seen.
I don't think there's much we can do. Something has gone terribly wrong, and we definitely shouldn't be there. This is, or maybe
Actually,
kind of listen in on what some of the production crew are saying, because obviously they must have switched over
sabotage
plastic sword for not
That's
plastic
it.
sword. So we got to look for who's screwed him over.
Start spreading the rumor that one of the other teams did this, and this rivalry has gone too far. Actually, I'll save that for a speech later in the show.
I think probably okay.
I like a joke.
Just behind somebody, I'm quite loudly going to go, I can't believe they swapped that sword round. Like name someone because I definitely know all the names, and then like sneak off because I'm quite good at scurrying, and hope that the rumor takes off.
Okay, that sounds quite effective.
That's me.
Yeah, and Shani Tompot is kind of coughing and bringing up a lot of blood. They've got the classic bit of blood from the corner of their mouth that, if this was a TV drama, would mean they're definitely going to die.
No.
But
We're
fortunately,
going to cough weekly.
Shani, stay with me, lass.
Fortunately,
It's okay. You've made a mistake. You're going to live, though. Your mistake was crossing blades with me. And then I'm going to squeeze the life out of her. She's gone. There's nothing anyone could have done.
Reach in, get a heart, squeeze.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, no. I was going to use I was thinking my plastic fingers. I've just realised a new way to kill people.
Brad's having a lot of revelations during this.
Yeah, Brad's going to be a dark Mr. Tickle. That's his arc. He's an evil Mr. Tickle.
It's the character we've all been waiting for and haven't realised.
Yeah, and that's what people were thinking.
What if Mr. Tickle murdered people with his long, extendable arms?
It's weird that he didn't.
I mean, I don't.
He was too busy tickling.
Advantage in not just tickling people, wouldn't you? Like,
Probably has a natural affinity to the law.
Yeah, the law of tickling.
Mr. Tickle's lawful good for sure. Actually, I don't think tickling.
Good.
Yeah, I was going to say tickling. He's like the ambiphorax of his world.
Yeah,
he's just there for fun.
He's got an affinity for those long arms, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
I see. I get it now.
So like,
did Annie say it first?
On
this occasion, no.
Various members of the crew come running out from like the healing tent.
Guns there. Shiva comes out with a... Whoa, it's a crossover episode.
Various members of the there's a couple of people who are in robes that they've clearly half-heartedly thrown over like Dr. Scrubs. They come running out and they kind of come in and they're like trying to assess what's going on, and people are trying to move the rest of the crowd back. So right now it really is you and Shani here, and she's like in a very bad way. I think that's legit if you've been impaled by a sword.
Weakling.
Yeah. So are you just holding her in place and supporting her while they kind of like try and...
You've done a great job. Well done.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. So you've got like this seal and they...
Can't think of anything else I could do, really.
Yeah. And so they've got like a stretcher, but then they can't take the sword out safely.
Don't worry. Shani, this is going to hurt a bit. I'm just going to...
The doctor's like, no.
It's not that we can't, it's that we aren't. Like, oh, right, I see.
It's not that you become king if you pull the sword out. So I think they like lay it down on a stretcher, like on her side. And then they're trying to... and you're presumably having to go with and maintain this seal.
I guess so, until we're somewhere safer.
Yeah, so you're led carve out the back and into the like medical area. And as you carve go past, there's like doorway on the right, and you see the producer Derry Smalt absolutely losing their shit.
That's what producers do. That's what I heard.
Yeah, and I think so. At this point, they had literally just had a word with you for using magic on camera, and now your model sword has turned into a real sword and tried to murder someone.
Yeah.
That did happen, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that happened. So they're losing their shit. Meanwhile, outside...
I'm going to, as we walk past, I'm going to be like, huh? And nodding down at the sword. Look. Oh, look.
Yeah.
Don't forget to wink at camera on the way past.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like on their phone.
Oh, well, there's still cameras on me.
There aren't.
Well,
once
they're
you
not going to turn them off.
Into this backstage part, you're off.
Okay.
You're off camera, but there were cameras the whole way through to there for sure. And now everyone outside is kind of is responding in a lot of different ways, because this is a fairly shocking incident. Everyone's signed a lot of waivers, but the idea that you might suddenly be impaled by a sword seemingly out of nowhere by someone who generally seemed quite friendly. It seems to be hitting people pretty hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think like Togs Gernard, he's kind of getting together with some of the other people, and they're kind of whispering around the place. They're whispering to each other, like, "Going on here? What's Muscles up to? What was his deal?" I think you can kind of make out that this is happening, but they're kind of doing it away from you, Arkwise and Anders. And I think Callie comes over. I think Callie comes over to you, Arkwise, and says, "Was he planning to do that? They're his plan."
No, I heard a rumor that someone saw somebody swap their swords round.
But it happened in his hand.
Well, he might not have noticed. I mean, he's not the smartest.
She like thinks for a minute. You got me there. But I'm just...
Yeah, he's got no reason to kill.
But you're saying one of the people in this castle is a murderer.
It sounds like it.
Well, if we haven't just pivoted genre. He said,
"Is there a parlour?" Let's go.
The Jolly King's Hall is now the parlour. He says, well, if he didn't do it on purpose, and don't think I can't tell, he's got a little bit of juice to him, you know.
He's got a lot of juice on him right now.
That's not really what I meant. Like, what is your perception of the magical arts?
Well, no. I mean, there's rumours of them. I'm not sure I even believe them, but look, no, there's no space for it in polite society.
I see. Well, that just about answers that. So you don't think the Muscles used this weapon exchange on purpose? You think it was done to him?
For sure. Like, someone must have switched them before they went into the fight. You know, it's easily done. There was a lot going on, a lot of cameras on him.
There sure were.
Shit.
You're
not sure that works in our favour there.
You're
but
quite technical, ain't you?
Yes.
Good hands.
Yeah, I can fix things.
Do you reckon you could get us into the feeds? Maybe we could see who did the swap.
Well, I could certainly try and then pass it on to you afterwards.
It's like, come on, let's take a look. What's to lose? Everyone's going to be sitting around here for a bit, or, you know, conspiring.
Well, I haven't got any conspiring to do, so I guess.
Anders, what are you doing at the moment? Where have you snuck to?
I guess I've just kind of snuck into the background, watching all that happen. Look, what sort of elements of the set I'm knocking about. Just kind of shift off out the way.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I think Callie would invite you over if she noticed you. It'd be like,
I'll if I'm singled out, if my bluff is called, then I'll go and respond.
Like, Mr. Rowe, do you know much about what's you get anything of what's happening here?
Well, it looks like that poor lady's bled out. Always doing so. I think it's blood anyway. I'm a box auditor. I'm not a doctor.
They don't bleed.
I don't think there's a box for that.
He says, well, I think if it's in a box, it might be a bit late. I'd say you got a little juice to you, Mr. Rowe. I'd say you got a...
Why, thank you.
I'd say that, like Mr. Muscles there, I see something in you that maybe not everyone does. And I was wondering if you had any idea how that sword might have got into his hand.
Not really, no.
Because I think it'd be...
should I?
I think it'd be bad. It could be a big problem for your team, and we're kind of associated. We have worked together a certain amount, and I would prefer if we could pin this on somebody, which wasn't one of us, if possible.
I see. Right, yes. No,
best boy.
Yeah, in that case,
correct.
I see where you're going with it.
Yeah, it's like, I think I heard that Arquires can work with the gadgetry. I was wondering if she could find a way to some of the feeds and show us maybe what happened.
Yeah, possibly.
If there was some skullduggery afoot, it would be good to know what it was.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if there happened to be a glitch on all the feeds at the exact moment it happened, it would point towards somebody in the technical crew.
Does make
That's
sense.
true. That would be
that lot dodgy as hell.
That would be very unlikely to happen. They have so many
very unlikely. Yes. Wouldn't it though?
Brad, I think you are. So the doctors now, like the medical team, have got Shani in. They're trying to work out how to extract this sword safely. They're like cutting the armor free. There's a problem.
Yeah.
A few problems.
Yeah. This is a world of problems. But the specific problem that you're suffering from is that you've done an amazing job of like vacuum sticking your hands to this armor.
And now they're stuck.
And now they're stuck. Yeah, they're really stuck. No one is doing anything until you've found a way to get your hands clear.
Okay, let's have if I can.
So what are you doing? Is they're like they've like unbuckled it, and you're like,
See, I thought I was going to try and get against the skin. I didn't realize there was armor because at that point, unless she was vacuum packed into her armor, it's just going to be.
This is what your hands did. You've basically vacuum packed the armor. So so you have got that effect, but on the downside, like your hands, you're stuck to it, but you've kind of almost left hand-shaped impressions in the armor.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna help them move the armor off in a way that I'm then carrying it like I'm just carrying the armor, and I'm like, right, where should I put these then? And I'm like, there's the answer. I'm like, don't worry, I'll find it, and I'm gonna go off.
Well, you can do that on one side,
and
on the other side, there's kind of like the hilt of the sword in the way.
Yeah,
and so you're slightly stuck on that, and they're like. And one of the doctors calls in a crew member with an angle grinder. Is like, all right, let's cut this sword free. Let's cut through this. What do you do?
I mean, yeah, right. So I'll take my arm off that side and be like, yeah, cut it there, cut it the other side of her. Not, you still have to pull it through.
Yeah, it's the
hilt. They got to pull it through one way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, cut at the front, and then I'll pull the hilt out the back. I've got such a good grip. It makes sense if I take it from here.
Okay,
you cut the sword.
That's fine. Give me face a challenge. So I'll describe what happens, and we can figure out what you do.
Face a challenge.
The angle grinder makes contact with the sword. It sparks for a moment, and then it explodes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
That's okay because I didn't roll. Right. There's a lot of people around.
There are a lot of people around. This is a bad situation.
No cameras though.
Yeah, no cameras. I'm going to try and say, right, everybody but the doctors, get out of here. There's too much
in the moment as it explodes.
Oh, as the angle grinder explodes?
Yes, because it's right by you.
I mean, I guess shield my face with my other arm. Oh, I'm going to bring up the armor to protect my face.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Okay, so this would be face a challenge with subtlety.
But I was also going to try and
turn to your power. You do have other shield.
Do what, sorry?
You do have other shield.
Other shield?
Yeah, that is when you would take harm and you instinctively turn to your power to reduce it.
See, well, I wonder if I can. Well, I suppose it made more sense I was going to try and take the blow on the armor that I'm wearing, and at the same time use power to try and make the sword disappear at the same time as the angle grinder exploded.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that would be you could use power for that for sure.
Okay. I use advantage on this one.
Yeah, I would, because if this goes wrong, it's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
You're in an explosion full of sharp metal and dangerous equipment.
I mean, it's not gone right. Oh, no, wait a minute.
Plus heart,
11.
Yeah, I was just about to say, wait, because it's showing me disadvantage. Weird. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, with advantage.
We have rolled okay.
6 and 4 and 1. A full success. So, what happened?
Oh, the 1 plus 1 advantage, so it didn't even need to use it, really.
So, what happens? What do we see?
If
there was a camera, what would it show?
Yeah, I guess that they start to the angle grind and there's a few sparks and then maybe there's that smell and I'm kind of like, oh my God, as it explodes, I just managed to get the shield up and then it kind of does that freeze time thing again and I'm like, slurp, and try and slurp the power of the sword back in or something to unsummon it if I've summoned it by mistake.
You have not summoned the sword.
No, but I wonder if I can unsummon it.
Can you unsummon it? I think, and you've got a full success here. So you reach in with your power and you put the sword somewhere else.
And through her leg.
Like, you've basically put the sword into that plane that you went into.
Yeah, okay.
So it's just there currently, but it is out the way. It's not here, and you can probably get there.
Okay.
So that's sort of the situation. So there are, however, pieces of sparks and pieces of hot metal, and Shani has just had a sword magically removed from her body.
Yeah.
So, you're going to feel much better about that.
Yeah, maybe it's
Dog, you did it! I don't know whatever that device was, but you've done it! Get in here!
Unfortunately, the...
oh, no.
Well, I'm just going to roll some dice. Let's see how the medical team did.
Come on, Shani, you can do it.
It's an intermediate success. The medical team themselves aren't too badly injured.
Oh, okay.
So I think the crew member who was holding the angle grinder is quite burnt and probably has bits of metal stuck in them.
Yeah.
But they did, fortunately, it's a union shop. They had safety equipment, so that soaked up the worst of it. Probably more
PPE.
than you. You're lucky that you happen to have these abilities.
Armor stuck to my hands.
And armor stuck to your hand, yeah. So you've got this sword out, and now you are clear. And the medical staff are like diving in, and they're starting to do their proper triage stuff. It hasn't happened quite the way they were expecting. They were hoping it would be a bit more complex, but they seem they're in. And I think after a few minutes, after like a moment, Hans said, "Thank you, Mr. Muscles. If you head out now, you've been a great help."
Oh, thanks. Who do I talk to about this terrible accident?
I said, Derry will want to speak to you.
Yeah, I want to speak to him or her.
I think Derry is they, them, so just them.
I was just about to say, or them. Or they. I don't know, one of the three.
So
whichever one was correct at the time.
So as Brad goes off to talk to the producer, what are you up to, Arkwise and Anders? Callie is trying to recommend that you search the feeds, figure out what's happened.
I'm starting to get suspicious.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely doing things very slowly. I'm definitely overcomplicating this whole business.
Okay, great. So if you're back in someone's quarters, or somewhere you must be somewhere with access to wires and your car bits and bobs where you've I feel like you've taken off panels in your room anyway.
Bob's all over the place.
Yeah, and so let's have a maybe an improvised device roll to or any subtlety roll, really. You do have an action point, so you can use it if you want.
I will.
Yeah, okay, so take advantage.
I know how to do that. Just click advantage.
Yeah.
Bam!
Hit your roll.
Rolling.
A full success. So that means in this case, you're able to do this exactly the way you want to. So you're doing it quite slow. What are you...
I'm making it look like I'm putting a lot of effort in, but I'm doing it the wrong way round.
Yeah.
I'm making extra things to do.
And what's your suspicion? What's the outcome you're trying to avoid here?
Well, what I expected to see was, that somebody had switched the swords round.
Yeah.
But it didn't look a lot like someone switched the swords round.
Nope. Also,
and people are talking about magic.
Yeah.
So I'm very slowly avoiding it because we're going to be in a lot of trouble if it's that. And if it is someone swapped it, well.
Yeah. Do you remember?
All the better. And well, then, if someone swapped it, what if it's the person who just came in with me? They might stab me up.
Well, do you remember that you made a fake of it? You found a decorative sword on the wall happened to be an exact match for this magic sword.
Yes.
And you swapped them over and handed back the decorative copy. It was very unlikely that they'd look exactly the same, but Anders found it somehow.
Mad that.
And so, yeah, that is, and that's right there. So on the wall where the sword should be, there is no sword. And that's a bit weird.
Yeah, someone has switched it then, clearly.
Yeah, it's the real one that is missing.
Well, it's not missing, it's in Shani Tompot.
Yeah.
They know exactly where it is.
Yeah, in fact, it has never been less lost.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, I'm just going to carry on looking then, because it will just work out who switched it. Just a little concerned about the people who are surrounding me, just in case it's them.
Yeah, well, it's only really Callie and Anders who are with you.
Well, what do we know about Callie? She could be luring us away to kill us off.
She could be, but we do outnumber her 2 to 1.
You do, and she's not obviously carrying a weapon.
Okay.
So there is that, but I think she's watching she sees this over your shoulder. She's like, that really looks like he picked up a regular practice sword like everyone else.
The wall where there isn't a sword, and should be a sword, is that within seeing distance?
Yeah, you can see it, but she wouldn't have known there was a sword there because it's in your quarters. But yeah, you would definitely, you could see that. It's like on the side of at the bottom of the stairs or something.
Okay. Well, I mean, there were other swords around. I mean, they could have swapped one out for something else. I mean, not everything's props here. Have you seen some of the stuff they've got for like set dressing? It's incredible.
But I mean, it was quite plausible, I guess, that if he was picking up a regular sword, how did an irregular sword end up in his hand? If he didn't do that, who did?
Well, whoever swapped them when they were handing out the weapons at the start there. They're all laid out. He's just gone and picked it up. They waited, so he assumed it was the same.
Rewind it again.
Okay.
I can't see anybody swapping them.
It must have been before that then.
But they're wooden. I mean, he's picking up a wooden sword. And that ain't a wooden sword that he used.
To my earlier comments regarding his intelligence. I mean, he's, to be fair to him, he's quite strong. He's got muscles, clues in the name. But, maybe to him, the difference between a wooden sword and a metal sword isn't going to make much difference. And besides, you've got the adrenaline of the moment. Someone's probably done it before all these swords were put out. Just bad luck.
I just ain't seeing how it turns from wood into metal in a fella's hand.
It didn't. That doesn't happen.
What do you think, Mr. Rowe? Do you think a sword could
I don't know why we're getting hung up on whether it was wood or metal, to be honest. I mean, if you stick a wooden sword through somebody's gut, then you have much the same result. So
the thing about it is,
it's kind of immaterial, really. The only curious thing about whether it's wood or metal is that it shouldn't be able to change like that. So,
yeah, but
I suppose that suggests some foul play, doesn't it?
My thinking is that a blunt wooden sword probably wouldn't go through the armor like that.
You haven't seen Mr. Muscles.
She can't pause it
some
at this.
woods are really hard.
Can't pause it at this, and then she's like, I wonder what would have happened if he hadn't been really strong. Do you think he'd have had to change his name? Do you think he was born Muscles?
I think he just...
Well, I've never really thought about it, to be honest, Callie.
He was born Muscles.
Sometimes I have ideas like this, then I get all hung up on them. Like,
I mean, I imagine maybe it's a family name and he's from a long line of dudes.
A long line of jacked muscles.
And blind valves.
Well, I suppose
I don't know. I'm trying to think of an answer for this, but
it's a real mystery. But
it's a mystery how it happened, and it's a mystery how we explain it away as well. Because it seems like there's not a lot of wiggle room in there really for anything other than like reality's changed, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's kind of my concern is if reality has...
Although who is it we're trying to fool, I suppose, is the question.
That's the question.
Because we are on a TV set, and the whole nature of that is inventing its own reality. So there's something that we can spin around that if we're trying to fool the audience and the people watching on. Whereas if we're trying to justify it to the rest of the teams and the production crew, then that's a slightly different matter, isn't it?
Yeah, you ain't wrong there. I mean, perhaps there's different ways of fooling different folks. Perhaps that's what we need to think about. Like, the audience becomes a problem when it comes to the curse of fun vote, and someone gets voted off. The other players might be a problem first, because if they turn against you, life's going to get much harder. There's always going to be rivalry, but the more we can keep a collaborative face on, the easier the trials will be.
I mean, Shani Tombot has been run through with a sword. I think the rivalry is pretty well bedded in.
Yeah, I mean, that's hard to argue with, isn't it? That's a little bit awkward, really. But she kind of goes and sits back on the sofa, and she's like, well, this is quite a conundrum. I look forward to you thinking up a good solution for it. Carl looks expectantly at you.
Me too. Me too.
Right. Terry Smolt is current. You can't come into the like little backstage space that you were in before. And Derry Smolt is just kind of swearing down their phone. They look at you and they look exasperated, and then they're like, Hold on, I've got to deal with something else. No, I don't fucking know. No, this is ridiculous. Slam the phone down and they go, what the hell was that?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. What kind of shit show you shoveling around here? I've just picked up a real metal sword without realising and run that poor woman through. If I wasn't so muscly, maybe I wouldn't have noticed it was a real sword. Or maybe I would have noticed, I should say.
He says, now, firstly, why are you going around like a toy monkey with the symbols? What's this? I think you can put that armor down now.
Fine. And I'll just slam them on the table, hoping that it breaks the breaks the seal.
Yeah, okay. Give me a subtlety roll. Face a challenge with subtlety.
Face a challenge with subtlety. Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, they just
Wow.
like, they kind of crash down and then your hands come free and you're like,
Yeah.
it actually feels quite good. There are now 2 pieces of metal on the table with like handprints embedded in the surface.
That makes sense because I smashed them down so hard.
Yeah. It kind of looks cool, honestly. Like if if you show up on the Walk of Fame, you've got these ready to go.
Yeah.
And
you could get some plaster of Paris. Make little Christmas ornaments.
the Christmas hands. They'll be the next big thing.
Hans Christian Andersen. That's me.
That's a very festive name, I guess. And Derry says, we did not give you a metal sword. All the swords in that stand were wooden. And
well, that wasn't wooden just then, was it? What's going on? I'm getting this was the person that talked to Magic about us, didn't it? Like, all your talk of magic, and now this happens. Oh, I thought better of you. I really did. I really thought you ran a tight ship here. But someone's dabbling in magic, and I want to find out who.
There is like, no, you are correct, Mr. Muscles. I think we'll have to bring the next stage forward. You're absolutely right. We will find out who. We do run a tight ship. We do. We're professionals. We've got a lot of experience on this crew. We can do this.
Who was the baddie that we're currently looking into or fighting?
You have the inevitable court.
Are they the real baddies or the show baddies? They're the in-character. Who are the OC baddies?
Figure called the Broken, who seems to be quite sinister.
Okay.
And you have and whose people seem to have come, like shown up in quite a sinister way, and you have the wild folk that you know are out there, who seem to be given, like the Stag King is one of them, who seems to be granting your power. So maybe they're helpful. You haven't really established motives.
No, but as the person's talking, as we're sort of are we still talking, or was I about to be? I'm going to say this whole production seems a little bit broken at the moment.
And they don't seem to respond to that, I think. They're thinking about they seem to be thinking about something else.
Hold on.
But it's not, they're like, you can see the cogs whirring. They're like, thank you very much. Thanks, Brad. You've done well. You've done the right thing.
Good. I just hope she's okay, you know?
Yes. Well, it sounds like she's it could be worse. I mean, it's very bad. It could almost everything that could have happened would be better. But given that this has happened, it could be worse. And so and they're like, why don't you make your way back to your team and, check on everyone. Some people will be pretty worried about everything. You can let people know that the doctors seem to think she's past the worst. She'll probably make it.
That is good to hear. Thank you. I'll go and see if I can work out what's gone wrong.
Don't worry,
Just go for the sympathy vote.
we'll sort it out.
See where the chain of command's been broken. There's always a weak link somewhere. And then as I walk out, I'm going to keep looking. See if they react and run out the door suspiciously or something. He's onto us!
They're just leaning on the wall like, I'll never tell.
Flicking a coin and chewing on an old cigar. I'll never tell.
Yeah, no, they seem to be, they're back on their phone. They're calling someone else up.
Okay.
As you make your way back out into the field. You can't see the rest of your team. It's sort of relatively quiet. I think Xander is still out here, Xander Mullet. And he's hanging out with Moki Trumpeter. So it almost looks like the kind of necromancer and the angelic priest hanging out together.
Nice.
They're kind of talking in low voices. You can't see anyone else. Whereabouts do you go?
I'm going to kind of act all dazed and like I'm not really seeing things and like, I'm going to be shaking my head a lot as if I'm sad, and then actually I'm oh no, actually, I'm not super happy I stabbed her, but I'm hamming it up for the TV and I'm just kind of keeping myself to myself as I walk back to my quarters.
Okay, cool. And when you get back, Anders, Callie, and Arkwise are there, like just chatting over, just kind of. They all seem to be deep in thought, I think.
Yeah. I too will be deep in thought. I'm just going to sit on the sofa and pretend I don't really see them and just kind of, whoa, a bad day.
Oh, it's going to be like when they have a TV show where there's like 5 minutes where it's just silence.
Yeah.
And people thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
A slow version of the theme music.
Plays. Or a piano version of a popular hit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thing is, now my head has decided that's the episode of Grange Hill when Zamo died of an overdose. No theme tune at the end. Most haunting thing that's ever been on TV. And I saw Ghost Watch when it was on.
Yeah, that was haunting in a different way.
That was a different haunting. Zamo. God. Zamo.
Yeah, so
Brad, from your perspective, what would you say happened?
I don't even know, Anders. I don't know. I can't think of it right now. Maybe
step by step.
Yeah, maybe I'll just I'm gonna give him the shut the fuck up. Maybe I just need to sleep on it and get things straight in my head first. I got to go to bed, guys. I'm really sorry. I don't know what happened. I'm just going to kind of shuffle out and stand at the door listening for when that guy goes or when that woman goes.
And Callie's like, well, I guess I'll leave you all to it.
Click, you hear my door open. Oh, not too soon. Click.
I'm sure you all have a lot to talk about. If you have anything you require my assistance with, don't hesitate to give me a yell. Give me a holler.
Thank you, Callie.
And she heads out.
Click. Is the coast clear?
Party time, lads!
Yeah.
I think Callie was angling to help us, but
don't.
That's fine. That's fine.
Well, I don't know that.
That's what I'm telling you.
Buffalo Daniel. That's another great name. I'm going to look at Arkwise and just ask myself why it has to be this difficult. I'm like,
do you do like the bathroom signal?
Yeah, I'm like,
bathroom chat.
Forget it. I'm like, that was the sword. That was the sword from the other place. I don't know what happened. It definitely wasn't wooden. No, it definitely started wooden, and then it became the sword. That's why I figured you didn't want to hear this in front of Callie, just in case.
Yeah. Also, it's been a while, so why were you trying to stab her in the first place? I can't remember.
That was the game.
Yeah,
we were playing
the stabby game.
We were playing stab for stab. It's just I went in. Yeah. I went in for my stab, and the bloody sword changed. Didn't even feel it. Just straight in. It was a shot.
That's the game. I guess she lost.
Yeah. Everyone else seemed to not think that was expected, though. So
I suppose
that was my clue that things have gone horribly wrong.
For it.
I don't know. We'll push for that tomorrow, I guess. It means that whoever goes against me next time, they're going to be fearful. They're going to be off their game, so I should win the second round.
You've established dominance.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, that was the sword. And when we couldn't get out of her body, and I kind of, I sent it back to that realm, I think. We should probably pop back there. Or just leave it there, actually. Actually, I'm going to try and sit down. I'm going to try and, I can't summon the sword in front. Screw it, I'm going to summon the sword in front of Arkwise.
Why would you do that?
Because you've been in the dark too long. We're bringing you to the inner circle. I'm just going to see.
Yeah, brilliant. So use your power.
Why would you do that?
You're reaching into this world.
Because I've sent it back once.
More of a target.
Oh, wait, that is a very good point. Arkwise
that was kind of my point. I mean, basically, but somebody's just been accused of stabbing.
Yeah.
It's found in their room with a magic sword.
Yeah. I mean, I was planning to send it back straight away, but also what if I can't? So, yeah, fair point. Let's just leave it there for now.
It's good storage. Swords are always hard to store anyway.
Yeah, and it's just lying out there on the plane. How could it go wrong?
Can I sense it?
You don't have a sense of that place from here.
No, but it's okay. I can't remember how we got there last time. It wasn't through our...
It was when you rolled a 1 somehow.
Right.
In spite of the fact you're rolling 2d6, you managed to roll 1.
Yeah.
And fell through into the plane. But you came back by using your power, and you feel that you could turn that direction. It's like going upstairs or something, but instead of up, you go in a direction that has never existed until now.
Yeah,
you know about it now.
Yeah. I open up one of the steps and wriggle through.
Exactly, it's that kind of thing.
Okay, I won't summon the sword. That's a fair point. So, yeah, don't know. I think she's going to live, though. And I'm a little suspicious of that Derry person. They seem too calm. I thought I was going to get a chewing out there, but they seem to kind of accept my bullshit a little bit too readily.
Have you seen what producers have to put up with?
Well, I did from my first time, but not really. I didn't kill anyone on the last show, to be honest.
Is that not how you won Where's My Skeleton?
Yeah, but you're allowed to kill those.
Right inside there.
I'll show you where it is.
That'd be a horrifying, your skeleton. Horrifying show.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you have so do you have any kind of plans or actions that are coming out of this? Or are you going to just lay low for a little bit?
Just me or the team in general?
Any dog.
I think the team.
I don't know what we can do to justify it. Really, there's no sort of no trick or anything that we could establish. You know, we could try to do something to blame the technical staff, maybe, but there's.
It'll be the props guys.
When it's sort of that clear that reality's changed, it's kind of hard to come up with anything that might justify it, really, isn't it?
We need to. Well, I actually did say that I blamed the magic on them. I said it might have been magic because, somehow a sword might have appeared out of nowhere or didn't, wink at Arkwise. So if we just go down the angle that we don't know anything about it other than what are they playing at, they might have to cover for us. They can't blame us.
We can dress it up as a plot twist. We could dress it up as actually Shani Tompot had been kidnapped, and that was a big show to lead us into a plot arc where we have to discuss. But that all requires the complicity of everybody else involved.
I feel like but I feel like the main producer. The producer. I think we could probably turn to our way of thinking. I feel like they might cover for us. There you go.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then we can do something like that and suggest that it was a special effect of some sort that's lining up a mystery that we need to unpick, But
to a certain degree, we don't really need to worry about any of that, do we? We don't know what
this is also the thing I'm thinking. It's
not actually our problem. It's not actually our problem, really.
I haven't been stabbed.
Yeah, we're fine. We stabbed someone. For whatever reason, there's been a malfunction. They've got to work it out, or they brought magic onto their show. They were the ones talking about magic, not us. We just appeared out of magic. That's very different.
And that could happen to anyone.
Any one of us.
And so I think if you don't have some plan of action you need to get to, then I think we can call the scene there, and the rest of the evening passes relatively subdued. In the morning, you're called to the Jolly King's Hall.
He's not so jolly anymore.
And the Jolly King says, as you come in,
are there cameras? Is this
there are cameras. This is all on camera.
Okay.
As like almost the whole time it is on camera. So this isn't production. But the Jolly King says, after yesterday's trial, I am sorry to inform you that although the hero known as Danny Tompot will recover, she will not be fit to fight beside you anymore. Now,
this is grave news, my king.
This is upsetting, of course, but we have one way that we can protect you from the sinister magic that seemed to have arisen in this case. From the furthest reaches, I have recovered a further set of heroes. And out of the darkness behind them, you see 3 silhouetted figures that slowly stride forward. And one on the right, who's quite short, you recognise.
Yeah.
As Daurad Makaro. And the other 2...
I don't know who that is.
That was the person who was eliminated in the first.
That was the first one that we managed to get eliminated because we thought that she was like a magic hunter.
Okay.
And the other 2 are dressed very similarly. And he says, "Fear not, for from a distant shore, I have recovered my most elite wizard hunters. So please join me in welcoming Team Omega."
Hooray!
I'm going to wrap my arms around everyone gathered and put them all in for a big hug.
Oh, thank God.
I'll
That
just reach
magic's
out.
a real problem.
Reach out and start tickling them.
Yeah, and so I think we can stop the story there. But I do have one thing I'd like to do before we stop.
Is it leveling?
Which is, I would like to. We do need to choose new moves for Brad and for Arkwise. Both
We
of
don't
whom
even really
have
use them.
leveled up.
New moves.
But also, I just wanted to talk about what we think's going on.
I haven't got a bloody clue.
Because I know what I think's going on, but I'm quite intrigued by what you guys think's going on, because there's probably better ideas than what I've had.
He's just trying to get us to write the plot.
I am getting, definitely. But also, I'm interested like on what parts you've picked up and what parts you haven't, because all of that helps me know how we're running.
Just now I wondered if it was kind of a hiding in plain sight war type thing between all the people, but maybe not. I think some people know more than
drawing out the magical people to kill.
Yeah.
And
producers got...
They're in a battle with that Dark Forts dude.
Yeah, you know about the Broken, you know about the Wolver and the Stag King, the Wolver Queen and the Stag King, and the existence of the wild folk, and that you saw this fleet out over the sea.
Yeah, it feels like something's coming back, but also I feel like we haven't had enough knowledge yet to really know what's going on. I feel like we're at the start of working out what's going. Like, we found a sword, we found these people. I think at some point we're going to have to go back, maybe, but also we're still very much in the dark as to what we're going to do or how we're going to change things.
I'm a bit confused about what's going on with the alternate reality. Well, the extra planar stuff. I don't really know how that's fitting in, other than there's some tension between multiple forces and it's kind of leaking into the world a little bit. The production company,
I think, what we know.
Yeah, the production company seem to be aware of magic, and I had assumed that it was something along the lines of trying to pull us into hunt us or something like that. But as they seem to be aware of it and are tipping us off about it, then that's something else. Maybe they're choosing heroes to go and do something else. I don't know. And then there's the in-character, the TV show baddies, which I kind of assumed were, show baddies, but something had probably leaked into them as well. So there was maybe a bit of bites
evil
to them that the production company were kind of having us sort of deal with. But how it all fits together, but particularly the jumping into the other plane and back, I'm a little bit confused about what's happening on that.
That is a very confusing thing to be happening.
Because,
and this is tied into this idea we had from the world building that magic is coming back. Or is starting to appear, and I've taken that to mean it's coming back. And
it's coming home. It's coming. Magic's coming home.
It's like it's been elsewhere and now it's coming home, and that's why people are starting to get powers, and suddenly the wild folk have a herald in the world. But also there's this weird guy Kularath who seems to be quite magical.
I can see a lot of the weird magic-y stuff. The thing that I think is probably not so clear at the moment is who exactly is pushing back against it, because everyone seems to be on board with it. And it's only really now that the Merry King, given that the production company seems to be on board with it, but I assume the production company have also brought in the witch hunters. So
that's it.
I don't know what
the production company are necessarily on board with it. What
they're aware of it and acknowledging it.
They're aware of it for sure, and it is certainly related to why there are magical people, like a concentration of magical people in the cast. for sure. So I think that's useful to know. It is like fundamentally part of what's happening here is no one quite knows what's happening.
This is it. I feel like we're at the stage of we're going to be finding out more. We don't know what's going on, but it feels like we're starting to
starting to
work towards you can't avoid that something bigger is going on.
That kind of tipping point almost.
Yeah. Yeah, but it feels like at that point it's going to go from being in the show and less show stuff to dealing with the real stuff, unless we have to kind of put the facade of the show on at the same time.
Yeah.
The sword thing feels very, very hard to try to cover up. So that's kind of are we just all coming out at that point? You know, is that the purpose of it?
If I was a producer and I wanted ratings,
having someone stabbed on camera, big ratings hit. But also, it depends.
They don't necessarily have to have a side in this. What they want is something to happen. They don't give a shit who snogs who on Love Island or whatever. They just want action and things that they can put on the telly to make a story of. So, you know, what they've done is put some magic and anti-magic people in a room with some stuff with magic. I hope it makes good telly.
One thing I think might be happening is that the producers, like cards on the table, I haven't fully decided because the story develops as we go along. But I'm wondering if the part of the show was actually to try and help people accept the presence of magic in the world. But things have got out of hand fast, and also some of the ways it's manifested have been like stabbing, and so rather than being a gentle, quiet introduction, it's like, oh, this is actually really dangerous.
I don't
think reality TV shows are like moral.
Well, they aren't in our world, but this is a world where people are happy, even though it's very bureaucratic.
I don't think there's any world in which, like.
Well, let's imagine that the reality TV show is acting in service to a specific power.
Yeah.
Right. So, like the BBC information films.
Yes, exactly. What if Big Brother was the BBC information films? Big Brother was
the spirit of Darkwater.
But like you say, what if they have gathered? It makes sense to gather the strongest heroes, the most skilled warriors, and what have you, to this show. But although it's been less about the skill, I suppose, because it's all fake. I guess they'd have done a slightly more.
They're trying to fuse like the emergent magic with their technology, and they want to be able to look into the other realm with some weird ass cameras. And start to develop something that would be interesting.
Yeah, and it could well be that they want to
in order to furnish like witch hunters with that equipment or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and that then starts to make really helps to explain why Arkwise is here. Like why a weirdo like Arkwise would be someone they chose for this. For this role, they're like, we need someone who understands technology. We need a cutter who do we know who's good at technology? Oh, Arkwise has worked on a few shows.
Yeah, so, and it would explain overt intradimensional stuff happening on camera, and why people might want to film that and run the risk of it all going along, whilst also acknowledging that magic exists, but not necessarily wanting to tell everyone about it.
Yeah.
It could also be that they were trying to capture magic. Like, if magic's coming back and it's somewhat random, and they're like, okay, well, if we gather a load of strong, powerful people that might be gifted towards magic, we might be able to make the magic happen here. And the sword has just appeared, and they're like, it's sort of working.
Yeah.
Like, we've had a group disappear and reappear. We've had a magical sword appear. This is sort of working.
Yeah.
We're sort of getting magic. We're increasing the likelihood that magic happens around us, ready to either capture it or use it or bend it to our will.
Yeah, that is definitely interesting because
whether they think magic coming back is good or not, like you say, they could be that they want to stop the magic coming back, and they have to draw it out to get like the portals and things appearing, as it were.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting. That's a really fun way of thinking about it. I like that.
It'd be interesting to see if the witch hunters are the real deal.
Yeah. That was certainly the impression you got originally. But
well,
it might be also interesting to see what are they actually doing. Like maybe they've been in the past. Maybe they've had dealings with some of the people who are in here.
Yeah.
Even that they're part of the reason that those people are in here. And now
there might be something. There might be something
not actually on
bigger than that.
Yeah.
Bigger going on in maybe they are producing something on screen and broadcasting it everywhere because somehow, some way that allows them to detect other magical people out there and go after them.
Yeah.
And I wondered if
kind of a big bait.
Yeah, I wondered if they could also.
They just sat on Reddit hunting down Big Dick 666 to go and trash him.
That happened to me once. I was just trying to cut up my chips with a plastic knife, and it suddenly turned into a metal knife in my hand. So it's not really the same, Big Dick 666, but nice try, you know.
Chips, that's a ridiculous idea.
Yeah. Surely even a plastic knife would cut through chips easily.
That dude in prison.
But they could also have powerful. They could be very powerful magic wielders themselves. Like half the crew that are in the positions of power could well be much better at masking, and they've known we're magical long ago. That's why we're brought here, because they can sense everything we're trying to hide, and they're like, we're going to use these patsies to do this experiment rather than us, just in case we get stabbed by these magical swords. They're like, why? If we are there on the fringes and then get these people to do it, if it does go horribly wrong and they get turned inside out by dark magic, it's not going to happen to us.
And ratings, best of both worlds.
And ratings, yeah. And if they can pivot halfway through and be like, the first and only show to include new live magic.
Yeah. Okay. This is all really this is really fun. It's given me a lot to chew on and think about. So thanks. There's a lot of interesting ideas there.
It might even it would be kind of nice in a way if it did a little bit Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe, that we go now into the fantasy world and stop fighting pretend things, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I keep forgetting that the Skelebarians weren't real and that it's a show, so that's good.
Yeah, I know. That's it.
They want production values.
Yeah, they do have very high production values. But yeah, so that's given us a lot to think on, and so just coming up to 9. That's probably about our end point. So thank you everyone who joined us. I don't know if anyone did, but maybe some of you will shortly.
It says 4 are watching now, so
amazing.
Could be this.
We could have at least
Passerby.
one viewer.
Hello, Passerby. He's come back down to 2 now. They've gone away.
All right, team. We out.
Right.
Cheers.
Cool.